All right. Abusia yama mungina kwaba Emra K Lover Media, so Lovers TV Africa. Na ene vetting committee at Tenase the minister omampeni eji no so mehwe akwan so no Honorable Kwame Agbodza. Okay. Say kai wo ho no nye kaketua. Na okwabe so na yemfa so ni ntua sa ye ka no. Na finance minister so no so ye member the vetting committee no so ato force bisa no ndi emphasize sike nyina nwura road sector ni mu ana ano yi a wode bae no so de ese se uti na ohwe drop comment na afi adwunju oma no wadaroma K Lover Media Lovers TV Africa.
Please proceed. As a nominee, you may continue to answer the question, or if you want me to repeat it, that's fine. Yeah. So I had stated clearly that a few years ago, your predecessor, the Honorable Amwakwata, was in this very hall answering questions at his vetting. He intimated that 1.56 billion Ghana cedis was the road sector debt that was left behind for them to clear. I trust that they would have cleared all by now. What is the status as we speak? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Once again, I thank my colleagues for giving me the opportunity to appear before them. Yes, the question asked by my respected colleague is something the whole country must pay attention to. Indeed, in 2017, our respected colleague, who is no longer a member of parliament, in his word, was alarmed by the fact that the NDC government was leaving a commitment debt of 17 billion Ghana cedi in the road sector and 1.5 billion cedi that being certificates approved which were not paid. At the transition committee, it turns out that as of today, I've not been to the ministry yet, what they presented to the committee, the NPP government is leaving a minimum of 100 billion Ghana cedi commitment. What you should be worried about, though, is that in that same document, they are saying that certificates unpaid as of today from GOG amounts to about 20 billion Ghana cedis. The ones with road fund is about 15 billion Ghana cedi. What you should be more worried about, my brothers and sisters and colleagues listening to us from outside of this hall, is that if you take the indebtedness up to 2025, which is the road fund debt alone, out of the 15 billion, look at these details. In 2018, we were owing about 113 million Ghana cedi. The interest on the 113 million Ghana cedi this year will be 665 million Ghana cedi. The debt was 113. The interest on the 113 is 665 million. When you take 2019, 210 million. The interest on the 230 million is 960 million Ghana. 2020, we were owing 424 million. The interest on the 424 million is 1.5 billion. 2021, the debt was 616 million. The interest on that is currently 1.69 billion. 2022, 693 million, and currently 1.4 billion. The question is, how do I explain this to the taxpayers in Adaklu? That we owe 113 million, and the interest on the 113 million is 665 million. I believe the issues about the road sector concerns all of us. Everybody here wants better road to our communities. These are not monies that have been thrown away, but it's because of the way contracts are written in this country, which says that if somebody raises a certificate and you don't pay after a period of time, 30% interest accrues on it. So this, as a result of the 30%, we are made to pay 15 billion on road fund alone. The question is, the 20 billion that is GOG, what will be the interest on that? Nobody knows. If the interest on 4 billion is together 15 billion, imagine what it will be. So I believe the way forward, if I am approved by this House, is to sit down with the finance minister to see how we can deal with it. This cannot continue. This is not value to Ghana. This is not value to the contractor. This is money being wasted. We cannot accept that you owe somebody 4 billion and in this year you are going to pay a total of 15 billion, that is principal plus interest. This cannot continue. This is something that the Ghanaian taxpayer, it means that today if you collect 10 billion tax today, you are going to give the 10 billion tax for as tax waivers, which is not tax waivers, like interest, which is nothing. So, Honorable Chairman, this is a very serious matter, and I want all countrymen and women to avert our minds to it. This is not about NDC or NPP. Like I said, these road projects are in our communities. So how we deal with it is something that must attract the attention of our country so that we put a stop to it. This is not sustainable. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Honorable Shaibu. By the rules, you have one follow-up question relating to the answer provided. Do you have any follow-up?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
So please proceed with your follow-up.
Honorable nominee, you have stated clearly that interest is one of the biggest problems that we have if you look at the composition of the debt. Understandably, you don't expect a contractor who has gone to borrow at 50% interest to do your work, and then you expect him not to add whatever he has on it. So is it a question of contracting which you intend to look at, or a question of looking for other sources of funding to pay off contractors as quickly as possible? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. It's both. Indeed, not every contract in our country attracts interest in terms of delays. So, and I also agree with you that when a contractor gets a project and is encouraged to go and borrow money to execute that project, and he goes to borrow money and is paying interest, and when he raises certificate and is not paid, of course, the bank is expecting him to pay the principal plus the interest. But what I'm saying is that this cannot continue. I don't know how the finance minister is going to fund this, because I foresee easily a situation where he's going to have to find 50 billion. And out of that 50 billion, work done in your community or my community is interest. And I don't think Ghanaians are happy with any of us. So the finance minister's responsibility would be to sit down with the sector ministers to deal with this unsustainable interest so that we can make it possible for us to derive value for the monies we spend on our projects. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chief Whip.
Okay, Chairman, thank you very much. Let me...
No, you hold on.
Chief Whip, congrats. I heard you quite well when you spoke at length, looking at the interest and debt that has accrued over the years. And you beautifully also added that when this House is gracious enough to approve you, you will sit with the finance minister. That was your first statement. And then you also wondered how the finance minister will, if you put all together, you should be telling us solutions and being aware of all these challenges. What are some of the solutions you want to profess in the wake of the difficulties we have? Yes, we are all aware of the difficulties, the interests, and all that. What are the solutions? I heard you on your political platform and all the good things you said, referencing your manifesto and all that. Tell us some solutions.
Yes, thank you very much. I think this is a very important question. First of all, whatever solutions we have, we still owe and we have to pay. That is why I referenced the finance minister to start with. How is he going to raise the money? I don't know at the moment. It is his responsibility to raise the money. But I think additionally, what we should be doing is to sit down with the industry players, contractors, and the agencies that are awarding road contract. We need to sit down with them. The way we contract, the way we write some of the contracts have to be reviewed. Government itself need to take a step back to find out whether it is appropriate to keep awarding projects when no one knows where the projects are going to be financed. Take the 2024 budget. Go to capital expenditure section. You may realize that the entire amount there that is for capital expenditure at the road sector may not be more than 4 billion Ghana cedi. Yet, this year alone, or last year alone, the quantum of projects awarded is probably fourfold. So why is it possible to award projects 4 times what has been allocated for you in the budget? So it is something we need to work out with, and the easiest way to do with this is to sit down with the industry players, the contractors, and the awarding agencies to come up with something that does not actually make the contractor worse off, because we want to build their capacity, and they're also businessmen that are employing people, and also make it possible for government to be able to pay for what we are actually contracted to do between ourselves and the contractors. So the synergy between these, we should be able to find us a solution that is more sustainable than what we have currently. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much. Leader.
Mr. Chairman, I have a follow-up question. Mr. Chairman, Honorable Kwame governs Agbodza. Congratulations.
Thank you, boss.
Mr. Chairman, the nominee happens to be my chief whip. I've worked with him closely for 2 years. I know his competence, and he's one person I can vouch for his competence at any point in time. Mr. Chairman, in his answer, he said, so far, the immediate past government, the MPP government, has left behind contracts worth 100 billion cedis. Contract, commitment, it's contract. Commitment is contract. So you don't just commit, you commit through contracts. So contracts through 100 billion cedis. And apart from that, you have 20 billion Ghana cedis being unpaid certificates, GOG, and 15 billion Ghana cedis unpaid certificate at the road fund. 100, 20, 15, 135 billion Ghana cedis. The national budget, the appropriations, is just in excess of 200 billion cedis. In excess of 200 billion cedis. 135 is approximately 60-something% of the whole budget, including wages, salaries, and everything, debt service, and everything. Are you trying to say that we should cede the whole budget to the road sector vis-a-vis what has been left behind because of what the previous government has left behind? Previous government has left behind. The total road sector commitment and arrest is just enough for a whole year's budget. Is that what you are trying to say?
Chairman, the situation is even worse than that. The 100 billion commitment, because these projects, some of them are designed and built. Let me give you an example. On the way to your own constituency, the rehabilitation and upgrading of Kasua to Akoti Road. The contract sum is about 1 billion Ghana cedi. That's lot 1. And then that is kilometer 0 to kilometer 12. Akoti to Winneba. That leads to the respected minority leaders constituency. That one is 987 million Ghana cedi. The remark is that new figures to be agreed. What it means is that these figures are not stable. So the 100 billion I gave you is not cost to complete. This is the projected figure as of the time this report was prepared. So you would surely have to find extra money by the time you complete this project. So cost to complete will be more than this. Do I expect you to hand over the national budget to me? No, because education, healthcare, even the salaries of teachers and ourselves have to be paid. as item one things. That is why I think the way out is to sit down. Maybe everybody involved in this must be prepared to take some level of responsibility. How we do it, I'll defer that to you as the finance minister. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much. Honorable Nyako, please note it down as your substantive question. If I will give you the floor very soon. Honorable Shaibu, your second substantive question.
Chairman, most grateful. Honorable nominee, one fine evening, we're seated and a Minister of State writes a letter